Well, my basic philosophy is democracy in the Greek sense of that word, and in the sense that Lincoln used it, which is the ruling of the people, by the people, for the people. And right now we're ruled by actually either politicians or oligarchies and so on. So I want the people to be directly involved in all the decisions which are important. Many of them are financial decisions, but there are lots of other decisions like what big projects we should be engaged in or not engaged in. So we want the input directly from the people, with the people having the power to say yay or nay.
And what do you think the top 3 issues are in the city of Kawartha Lakes?
Well, the top 3 issues are clearly the debt, which is absolute runaway. We're now at $115 million, when before amalgamation, 14 of the municipalities had no debt whatsoever. The other big cost is the cost of the staff. And that is now $76 million. And when you realise that the tax money that we take in is $120 million, that's about 72% of all our tax dollars go on paying our staff. Now, the city handles other money. It collects money for the school board, $26 million. It has grants from the province, which it must use, but that is money which they have no discretionary power over at all. It's just our taxes.
And where do you get these figures?
Well, there are always in reports, and I am one of them, and read them, and they're lengthy, and they're designed to be so obscure and full of so much stuff and rubbish that I think the councillors just close their eyes and rubber stamp, because nobody in their right mind, that makes me not my right mind, would actually go through that. We have found errors, simple errors like 3 plus 3 is 7. And I say to myself, if they can't catch that, they should not be in charge of anybody's money at all.
Give me some examples.
Well, I'll give you some examples of mismanagement. For example, the low-cost housing project in Lindsay started off at 8 million. As soon as they got the shovels in the ground, suddenly they went back to council and asked for another 4.3 million. That's over a 50% error in their estimate, and it isn't finished yet. And yet nobody has been sacked. In the real world, they'd be out on their ear. The northwest trunk line, which is a big sewer line, was estimated at 5 million. We're already up to 19.8, and it does seem that one of the real causes of that is that the staff engineering department forgot that they had to put the sewer pipes under a river, which is a very expensive proposition.
And I think with the housing project, they say that the cost of materials has gone up as well. That's something that's out of their control.
No, there is nothing out of their control. No engineer. I come from a long family of engineers. I'm an engineer. My 2 daughters and my son are engineers. My grandson's an engineer. We're all, and that just does not wash. If you might get away with a 5% error in real business without getting a sack. You might. But 50%, and in the case of the Northwest Trunk Line, actually 4 times, 400% error. It just wouldn't go down.
What do you think City Council has done right over the last 4 years?
Quite frankly, nothing. They have not listened to the people. Our group has sent them 14 videos which they have seen, so they know the concerns and have not reacted at all. They have decided to rule the people with an iron fist. They have decided that the people really are, shall we say, low life and should be ruled. My version is that no, the people have great collective wisdom and they should be listened to, and they're not.
We did 3 Facebook polls on our Kawartha 411 Facebook page. One of them, the majority of people said that Walmart was a main priority for them in this election. What would you do to bring a business like a Walmart to the city of Kawartha Lakes, or do you think that's important?
Well, this was discussed at length last night at a 4 candidates meeting, actually, which was well attended. And I think there is a growing concern whether the days of the big Walmarts and so on is over. and we should be very, very cautious about this, because so many people are having all their goods from motor cars to fresh carrots delivered to their doors. This is a dicey area, so you start to spend millions of dollars on that. You're probably better to develop the area as a sort of residential area. That would probably be a wiser move in the long term.
The second poll that we did talked about roads and taxes, and the majority of people said they would prefer better roads over lower taxes. What would you increase taxes to pay to fix our roads, which is what basically our poll found people wanted?
Yeah, the people definitely want better roads. The roads are in absolutely appalling condition. You go through Fenton Falls, some of the back streets, we counted them. There were 120 potholes in 80 yards. Now that is absolutely outrageous. But to actually increase taxes, to do that, no. We believe they're overtaxed already. We believe that we have a hugely expensive bureaucracy now, which is costing us millions of dollars, and that could be shaved down. We have to question some of the projects, such as the rebuilding of downtown Lindsay, which apparently is going to cost about $50 million. We don't know where that money is going to come from, but that could be stopped, and we could really get after the roads and bridges. The situation in Fenton Falls is really dire. That bridge has a limited lifespan. It's on a major artery, north and south, up to Cottage Country and so on, and something must be done to that, I think, as a priority, and some of these other roads. Let's cut the costs by becoming efficient. People don't realize there is no oversight by the citizens to any single department. They do whatever they like, and nobody is able to say that they're doing a good job, a bad job, where efficiencies. We don't have that structure, and that's because the City of Kawartha Lakes is not a real business at all. It's a government bureaucracy.
And the third one was basic income, and that one was pretty much split on the municipality getting involved in asking the province or the federal government to continue with the basic income pilot. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, my background is in physics, and you don't start an experiment and then quit it halfway through, because that's just a sheer waste of money. I think the object would have produced data which said, well, the first need of these people is perhaps housing, or perhaps clothing, or perhaps better medical attention. So without that data, we really can't structure any way to help them. I mean St. Mark says, 2,000 years ago, that we'll always have the poor with us, and we'll always be able to help them, but nobody seems to know what is the best formula for giving that help. So yes, that should continue, and we should take that data and have a good look at it, and then structure some sort of help plan from that.
Any final remarks?
No, no. I just think it is time for really people to gather together. It's kind of interesting. All the churches are organised in small parishes, and they've lasted 2,000 years. It's time to get the City of Kawartha Lake organised once again into small wards, and then we will be very happy.
Right. Thank you very much, and good luck on the 22nd.
Thanks, Marilyn.